Okay, so I'm going to talk about buildings. And as we all know, the building sector is responsible for 35% of Europe's greenhouse gas emissions. We have a unique solution that makes buildings more enjoyable, more productive, and dramatically reduces their carbon emissions. My name is Ken, and we are Padurn. So we're collecting and selling real-time occupancy data for building owners. This is essentially people counting, and we can tell how many people are in the building, where they are, and when they are there. This curve here is a typical curve for one day. People arrive in the morning, they go for lunch, they come back, and then they go home again in the evening. The important thing here is that today's market leaders are still collecting this data by manual counting. The manual data is time-consuming and isn't real-time. We can do it for much less cost, and we can give you data for every minute of the year. I've been working on this topic since 2010, and only now with some new digital tools can we measure this accurately. Our concept is most useful for commercial buildings, and especially hospitals, universities, schools, and offices. But we feel our best starting point is offices, and our beachhead market is high-use offices in Helsinki. Okay, this is my favorite bit. Most of us have been in an office space that is more or less empty, and it's not an enjoyable experience. Instead of bland, grey, and boring offices where people have their own desk, our data can support a future where offices are fun, colourful, and inspiring. And this concept is proven to make office workers more productive. When companies reduce their space, they transform their offices, and in one Helsinki case, 66% of workers reported that the new space made them more productive. On average, office buildings are 40% full, and that means 60% empty. And when you combine the fact that each desk in a Helsinki office building costs almost €9,500 per year, it's crazy that our buildings are so empty. Our tools enable the companies to decide how much space they need and to track this over time. They can even use our data to turn off energy-using systems like lighting. There is no other way to do this accurately. A large Finnish company who are flexible working pioneers and whose staff spend over 80 days working at home per year have told us that the most valuable data in the future office is knowing where the free spaces are. We can provide this data. Our methods are hugely scalable, and we're integrating data from iBeacons, access control, Wi-Fi connections, room booking systems, and in some cases we are even using cameras. After 5 years, we aim to have a 45% market share in our target markets, which are Finland's 3 largest cities and Stockholm. This is 3,600 buildings, but only 200 customers. This will yield a turnover of 11.5 million at year 5 and a profit of 2.6 million. Okay, so my kids are going to help me explain the climate impact. And after all, they are the main reason why I'm so interested in climate change. We are planning to make buildings more efficient. Emma here represents a building that is inefficient with only 3 Lego people in her building. And Max represents an efficient space with 6 Lego people in the same building. We can provide the data that enables companies to be more like Max and to reduce area of offices by 15% on average. This will deliver dramatic savings in rent and energy costs. Our very conservative estimate is a 20% reduction in CO2 emissions. After 5 years and all our target market, this is a total of almost 6,000 tons of CO2, which is the equivalent of driving around the world by car 3,000 times. From a competitive advantage point of view, there is a new European standard that has been published that recommends measuring occupancy in order to benchmark consumption in buildings. This is something that will really help our business. We also intend to have multiple year contracts, which is pretty standard for a software as a service. Over time, we also intend to enlarge our offering from the scale of a building to measuring on each floor and eventually in each room. Our founder's dream is to stop the madness in how energy is measured in buildings. Today, an empty building represented by a very happy Emma gets an excellent energy score, whereas a full building represented by a sad Max gets a terrible score. And this is totally contradicting our efforts to be more resource efficient. We want to completely flip this on its head, which we can do with our data, so we can reward those who are space efficient. Good job, Max. Our long-term goal is to change how energy efficiency is measured globally. The current method just isn't good enough as it ignores the huge influence of usage patterns. Our team is made up of me, Ken Dooley, I have over 10 years building energy consulting experience. I understand the problem and the customers. I am also studying this topic for my PhD. And Mikko Ruokioki provides the technical know-how. He is the CEO of a successful Finnish startup and has over 15 years of experience.